which is Senator Mary Siri Carney and Senator Hearn. Senator Carney, Siri Carney.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Minister, I am going to raise an issue that has been raised, was campaigned for by Senator Hearn all last year to make sure it was on the funding list. It's now on the funding list, but it might as well not be. It's a completely impotent provision, and that is the provision of Cariban and alleged reimbursement for those who are in need of Cariban because they are suffering from a very severe illness and vomiting during pregnancy. The conditions of it being prescribed are that it must be prescribed by a consultant in order for you to benefit from the reimbursement scheme. But the reimbursement scheme is subject to the drugs payment scheme quota of you have to pay the first €80 yourself every month. The consultants, you can only see a consultant when you're well advanced in the first trimester, if not at the very end of it, going into the second trimester. So you have to fund it yourself for the first 12 weeks that you are on the medicine, and then even when you qualify for the scheme, there's no retrospective reimbursement available to women in need of this. This, when it's been responded to in the Dáil, the response from the Minister is in the Department of Health, and noting that you're not, which is a bit of a disappointment, no reflection on you, but the response has been to implore the drug companies to apply for the licence. But actual fact, the drug companies and the practitioners are operating lawfully because we have such thing as an exempt medicinal product list. And the whole point of that is that you don't have to apply for a licence, you don't have to apply for authorisation, but if a consultant underwrites it, and in other words, takes the risk away from the state in the prescribing of this matter, then if the consultant undertakes that risk and carries that legal burden, then it will be all right. Now the question would be, instead of ministers standing up and saying, we really want the drug companies to apply for this and to make sure that it's on the list, it would suit us better to reappraise the exempt list and whether that's actually a suitable list or not, because real women are sick all of the time for the duration of the 9 months of their pregnancy, and the state purports to provide them with financial support, but actual fact they don't. They provide them with a very minimal of, they might get $1.50 every 4 weeks. So.
Thanks very much, Cathaoirleach. I won't go over what Senator Mary Siri Carney said, just to say that I echo every single thing she said and in the passion that she said it. I have been bringing this up since April 21, almost 2 years now, and it seems like either no one's listening or they're kind of moving but kicking and screaming. And it's getting to the point where Hyperemesis Ireland are incredibly frustrated, and individuals across the country now, the likes of Sabrina Hill, have to go to their platform on Instagram to talk bravely about their own experience of going through this debilitating condition. And almost it feels like anyone within any position of power don't seem to care. We talk about in this country about how healthcare, and particularly maternity care for women, is free. It's not free for all women. It's not free for women who go through this condition, and it's not fair. They look at other countries like Spain, where it's incredibly cheap to get the drug. They look at UK, where it's free to get it, but not in Ireland. And the most frustrating thing is that a consultant has to sign off on it. I know from my own experience with my wife, we had a baby just before Christmas. If you're going through the public system, as we did, you do not see a consultant until well into the second trimester. So for people who cannot afford this drug, cannot see a consultant early in their pregnancy, would have to buy, as Senator Mary Siri Carney said, would have to pay for the drug themselves for the first 12 to 14 weeks. And the cost of it is extraordinary. My question to you, Minister, is what is it with the Department of Health that seem to be putting obstacles in place for women right across the country to receive the right and proper healthcare that they deserve when they go through this pregnancy? Thank you.
Minister.
Thanks, Chair. I'm here on behalf of the Minister for Health, and I'd like to thank both Senators Mary Siri Carney and Senator Garrett Ahern for raising this matter, and appreciate that it will be a concern for many women in Ireland. Hyperemesis gravidarum is a severe form of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy that affects some women and must be diagnosed and treated appropriately. The Government is keen to ensure that anyone encountering this condition receives the support that they need. As part of Budget 2023, the Minister for Health announced €32.2 million in funding for women's health in 2023. This included dedicated funding for Cariban, a medicine used to treat the condition hyperemesis gravidarum. I'm sorry, no, I'm pronouncing it. My pronunciation of it may not be correct. As of January 2023, this medicine is now available to those women who need it. Unfortunately, reaching this point has not been straightforward. Under the Health Pricing and Supply of Medical Goods Act 2013, only medicines that are licensed and have marketing authorisation from the European Medicines Agency or Health Products Regulatory Authority can be added to the HSE's formal reimbursement list. Cariban is not licensed and therefore cannot be added to the reimbursement list. It is instead classed as an exempt medicinal product. There are 3 medicines containing doxylamine prodoxine which are licensed in Ireland, and these are, and they're listed in the reply. It's a gastro, 3 of them are gastro and 1 is a modified release hard capsule. To date, the market authorisation holder, Oxvi, has not progressed the pricing and reimbursement application further with the HSE. The market authorisation holders for Exlis and Navlem have not submitted pricing and reimbursement applications to the HSE. Therefore, to address the unmet needs of patients with hyperemesis gravidarum, the HSE's Medicines Management Programme has asked to review the clinical evidence available to the unlicensed exempt medicinal product Cariban and to make a recommendation on the appropriateness and feasibility of an exceptional patient-specific process for access to the product. Following recommendations of the Medicine Management Programme, the exceptional arrangement has been put in place to support the reimbursement of Cariban. Cariban is now available under the community drug schemes on an individual patient basis for treatments of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy where a consultant obstetrician initiated. While the initial prescription for Cariban must be issued by a consultant, further prescriptions can be issued by the patient's GP. Consultant initiation is the case for all unlicensed exempt medicinal products under the community drug scheme. The HSE advised that where a drug is not licensed, the expertise of a specialist in the relevant field is necessary to ensure safe usage. However, if a licensed product was approved for reimbursement, this arrangement would then be reviewed or revised. The HSE therefore encourages clinicians, along with the Institute of Obstetricians and Gynaecologists and the National Clinical Programme for Obstetrician and Gynaecology and other healthcare professionals, to encourage the market authorisation holders of available licensed products to progress with the formal pricing and reimbursement process in Ireland.
Thanks, Minister. Senator Mary Siri Carney.
And thank you, Minister. But with due respect, putting the onus on drug companies to make the application when they are a for-profit industry, let's be very clear about what it is an absolutely farcical. And it is not a patient-led response, nor is it a citizens of the Republic-led response. The fact is that what we're about is deferring the risk and the legal burden here onto a practitioner, onto a consultant, and the person who pays the cost in the middle of that is a woman who either doesn't get her prescription, doesn't get her funding, may in fact be hospitalised at a cost to the state of the hospitalisation, the health, the beds that is not necessary to be taken up, and a woman on a drip in a hospital, as some of the patients who need this have told me. So to be quite honest, the whole arrangement of an exempt list and our funding relationship with that needs to be reviewed and needs to be patient-centred.
Minister? Oh, sorry, Senator Ahern. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Chair. Look, Minister, thanks for the response, but this response I would have got a year ago even. Essentially, for people who are listening, and there's women listening this morning to see what answer is going to be given from the department, this is a load of rubbish, basically, to them. And, Chair, I would appreciate if it gets back. How many ministers of health do we have in the department? People will ask me today, Why was there no Minister for Health here? And this is no reflection on you, Minister, obviously. You're a great minister in your department. But how many Ministers of Health do we need in the department for one of them to come in here and answer a question of why women can't receive the same treatment? And the question they ask me is, if this was a condition for a man, you could be damn sure it would be solved. Why can't they receive the same treatment in the same respect, at least in this chamber, for Ministers of Health to come in here and answer genuine questions from people who are actually in government with them?
Minister.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. So on behalf of the Minister for Health, I wish to thank Senators for raising this important matter today, and progressing women's health is a priority for this government. A strong commitment to promoting women's health was made in the programme for government, and we are fully committed to the development and improvement of women's health services and to working with women and girls to improve their health across the whole life cycle. Funding of £32.2 million for women's health budget in 2023 will help continue making progress in the area for the coming year. This includes the dedicated funding for Cariban. The Minister for Health is pleased that this treatment is now available to those women who need it, and will hope that it will make a meaningful difference to their well-being. The Minister understands the frustration that exists around the fact that the medicine is only accessible via a consultant prescription in the first instance. This is because Cariban is an unlicensed exempt medicinal product, and therefore the expertise of a specialist in the field is necessary to ensure safe usage. The HSE's management access to Cariban lays out appropriate clinical protocols that must be followed to ensure safe usage. But I will absolutely relay and reflect concerns of both senators to the Minister, to all of the Ministers of Health in the department. Thank you.
Minister.
With respect, I'm getting texts in here of there's a woman who is waiting over a month for the consultant to sign that form to get, so that she can then get a place where she gets some small intervention. The system just isn't working, and it's not all right. If you're in the public system, you're really at the mercy of the state.